Hi, I'm Tony, and welcome to the Jeep Talk Show, the talk show where we talk about all things Jeep, from trail riding to overlanding and everything in between. Every Friday, we have an interview with a new and exciting guest. Sometimes they have products you need for your Jeep, _need, and sometimes they just have a great story to share. I think that this is a great story. It's a cautionary story, but it's a great story, and nobody was injured. At least the Gladiator owners were not injured, so it makes it a great story. So sit back, grab a cold one, and get ready for another great guest right here on the Jeep Talk Show.
Are you ready?
It's time for the Jeep Talk Show with hosts Tony, Josh, Wendy, and Chuck.
You know, the Jeep Talk Show is on Patreon. I know, but you can become a subscriber today and help us support the show you love, the Jeep Talk Show. Just go to xjtalk.com/contact right now to find out how.
From around the world, or from your city, and sometimes just down the street.
Howdy, neighbor.
It's the Jeep Talk Show interview.
Ideal boys and girls, it's time for another Jeep Talk Show interview, and tonight we're going to be talking with Kris Buckler. Kris says he is pretty new to the Jeep life. He bought their first Jeep 2 years ago, been enjoying the outdoors, the trails, the community, and all the friends we've met since. Truly heartbroken with what's happened recently and the state of the Jeep now. So I don't know that everybody knows this or not, Kris, but you were recently, what is it? Has it been a week or 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago?
The accident happened on July 15th, so a couple weeks.
Okay. So only 2 weeks ago, you were involved in an altercation, and for our YouTube viewers, you can actually see the picture behind Kris and his background of his, is that a maroon? What color would you call that?
The Jeep color is Snazzberry. But
yeah.
It's a maroon Jeep, yeah.
Yeah, I had people, because I remember the Snazzberry came out, because I have a 2021 Gladiator that it's red. And I remember people saying, "Oh, get that dark red one." And I said, "You mean maroon?"
Burgundy.
Yeah, it's a beautiful color. I've seen one up close. It is an absolutely beautiful color. But if you really like red Jeeps, that ain't no stinking red. So, so in the intro here, you say that you got this Jeep, and I'm assuming you're talking about the Snazzberry Gladiator just 2 years ago. And it's interesting that you seem to be embracing the Jeep life big time. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you actually, during this incident where you were struck by another vehicle on the highway, which we'll circle back to, you were on your way home from a wheeling trip to California, correct?
Actually, Baja, Mexico.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you weren't even using the California for wheeling. You were just using it as a go-through.
Yeah, and that's the funny part of the story. You know, we planned this trip to Baja, and then all we think about is, oh gosh, the cartels. Oh man, the crazy Mexican roads. What's going to happen? We're all worried. And then come have a beautiful trip in Mexico. Come back to California. This is the day we're on our way home, and we had literally just filled up gas, and we're getting on the road to head home. And like within 5-10 minutes of getting on the I-8, the incident happened.
Oh my God. Okay. So what year Gladiator is this? Is it, did you get it new or used?
Yeah, we bought it brand new. It's a 2022 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, the Eco Diesel model. So.
And it looks like you made at least one modification to it.
Yeah.
What all have you done to it?
So far we've gotten a lift, a Metal Cloak 3.5 game changer lift. We still have the stock suspension. We did upgrade to the MileStar Patagonia 40-inch tires. Threw a rack on there and 23-0 tent and awnings. Best top Sunrider. Those are the things that jump out at me right away. What
size tires are on there?
The 40-inch from MileStar Patagonia. So
was there any re-gearing of the differentials, or is it stock?
Not yet. And like I still have the stock axles too. I just kind of take it easy when I'm on, the trails in say Moab or Sand Hollow where there's some
Right.
steeper climbs or shelves to climb.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it easy. I know that it's putting more wear and tear on those Dana 44s, but so far, knock on wood, wherever it is, I haven't had any issues with the axles. If I had the money, I would be upgrading them now, but don't have the money, so I'm actually just putting Dana 44s right back on.
Right.
I found some on Facebook Marketplace that came right off another 22 Jeep Gladiator Eco Diesel. So it's just going to be bolt on with these new axles and get it back on the road.
So let me ask you this. Most people don't go directly to 40-inch tires. What was your motivation to going? And I'm assuming that over 2 years, you went from stock tires to 40s, or was there an in-between size?
So funny story with that. We picked it up from the lot, drove it to our friend's house that's actually part of this caravan here that was in the group with us. Drove it to his house, threw 37s on it with no lift or anything, and went down to Hurricane and did a weekend at Sand Hollow. I scraped the heck out of everything underneath, but had a good time wheeling. And then we got home, ordered the lift, and the 37s I borrowed from him. I guess you'd say I didn't purchase them. And then we ordered the Patagonia, the MileStars, the 40-inch tires. Basically went with them, honestly, because I'm pretty new to wheeling and jeeping, and the people I hang out with are more experienced, and it's what they were running. And picked MileStar because the price point was pretty good. Mm-hmm. So that's what we've gone with.
How does it drive with stock gears and the diffs? And I'm assuming you have the 8-speed automatic, not a standard.
It's not bad, you know. And I actually tow a trailer every now and then. It's a smaller trailer. It's like 3,500 pounds dry, 4,100 if I fill it with water and stuff.
Right.
And it tows it great. I've towed it to Oregon, towed it down south to, Moab and St. George. Actually towed it all the way back to California one trip just last year. Pretty good. It's, I would like to upgrade, but that diesel, has plenty of torque to pull everything.
Oh yeah. I didn't think about that. That would make a difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But, I definitely, it's on my wish list, to re-gear. A bigger wish list item would go to, Dana 60s or whatever, but that's pretty pricey, probably out of my price range.
So exactly when, exactly when did the and I got a feeling this is like the Land of the Lost, bitten by the bug, in this case, the Jeep bug, one of those big mosquitoes that was in Land of the Lost on Will Ferrell's back.
Yeah.
You got bit hard by the Jeep bug.
Yeah. It's kind of a funny story. Growing up in high school, my dad was a big Toyota guy, like FJ40. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what year he had. It was a mid to late 70s or early 80s FJ40. And I was like 16, just got my license. And he's like, I'll either buy you a used car for around $2,000, or I'll give you the FJ and purchase whatever you want to build it up. So I was like, heck yeah, I want this FJ.
Oh, that's a nice way to start. So
I started wheeling, and what's funny, as far as camping and stuff like that goes, I grew up in the middle of the Sierras at like 6,000 feet, little town, 300 people with nothing around. So I grew up in the wilderness, even though I didn't camp a whole lot. It was just my backyard.
Right.
So I rode 3-wheelers, motorcycles, drove my Jeep, and just had fun in there. But I didn't do any Jeeping for years and years and years. And in 2020, unfortunately, my dad passed away, and he had another FJ40, a 77 FJ40, and I got a little bit of money in that Jeep. And we were honestly looking at buying a Dodge Charger because my wife and I are like, oh, we want a Charger. But we went down to Moab with some friends, and I took my FJ40 down there and wheeled, and we just caught the bug of wheeling. And like my friend, he has a big Gladiator. He's with our group. And he's like, hey, can I drive your FJ40? I haven't driven a old rig like this in years. And I'm like, sure, I'll drive your Gladiator. And I got in his Gladiator. No. It was like driving a Cadillac, right? I'm getting beat up in my FJ with barely any suspension, like a tractor bouncing around. I get in his Gladiator, and it's like a walk in the park.
Oh, it's so nice.
Like,
yes.
My wife and I looked at each other and we're like, maybe we should buy a Jeep. We'll have a lot more fun. we'll actually do things. If we get a charger, it'll probably sit in the garage and we'll drive it to and from work, and that's it, you know?
Low and
So,
fast is fun. Maneuverability that's a lot of fun. That's where I came from, was driving fast. And I always like to say, somebody was going to die. It wasn't me, because when you're young, you never die.
Yeah.
So I got into trucks and then into Jeeps. So now I think you just answered this question, because I was going to ask you why a Gladiator and not a Wrangler, because there's a lot of, I don't want to say hate, but naysayers in the Jeep community that it's not a truck and it's not a Jeep.
It's in between. Yeah. No, I get it. It's I think I bought it because I thought it would be I kind of had a bug to try to get into more of an overlanding, as you can see with my rooftop tent and rack and everything. So my goal, even though most of my friends were rock crawlers and stuff, I wanted to build my rig where I was capable on the rocks, but I also really had a goal to be able to get out and go camping and not have to haul a trailer and not have a ground tent and a bunch of stuff, but have, even though it's only a 5-foot bed to throw a bunch of stuff in.
Oh, cargo. You can carry plywood if you put the tailgate down. Yeah. There's a lot of uses for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know JLU can get the job done too, but I just thought the Gladiator was a better fit for what I was looking for. But
yeah, very, very cool. So, who chose the Snazzberry? I don't think Snazzberry is available anymore. Who was it that? Available. Yeah, who was it that wanted the Snazzberry? Was it you, your wife, or yes? And don't lie, because I'll know.
mostly my wife.
There we go.
Yeah. But there wasn't. But to be honest, there wasn't a color out at that time that I was like, oh, I really want this. I'm kind of a guy that. I don't know if it looked good on a Gladiator, but I like the yellows. I
was just going to say that high velocity yellow is really just, man, it's bright.
Yeah. I don't like the high velocity. It reminds me too much of a highlighter, but I like the older yellow.
The older one, yeah.
Called it. And I kind of like the nacho orange too. I always like that one too. But I think when we got it, they had the standard colors, and then they had Snazzberry. And I think the Tuscadero was still out. I know it went away, and I think it's back again now.
Exactly.
But I didn't want a pink.
No, the Tuscadero, I mean, it's a great color for a Jeep. I just don't know. And I'm not making any judgments here, but I just don't know that's a great color for a Jeep that's driven primarily by a male. I think it's a great color for a woman. It's a fantastic color. Absolutely. I have a saying. I like to say Jeeps like to be seen, so they like bright colors. Preferably red, because that's what the color mine is. And the Snazzberry has that pearl coat, so it's kind of shiny. I almost wish we had a flat color, because I think the flat colors don't show their scratches and scuffs as much. True. But yeah, I like the Snazzberry. I wasn't opposed to it, but it was probably more my wife that was like, fell in love with it. And I was just, I'll go along for the ride. Sure. Yeah. Keep the wife happy. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure you were just really happy that she enjoyed the Gladiator when you guys were out running around. And
absolutely. Because she wasn't a huge fan of some of the obstacles down there. Got a little scared getting tippy and everything. But she's like, she said it best. We get a Jeep and we can have, family fun. We can be out with our friends. A lot more, and do a lot more community type things. I mean, once we've met the Jeep community too, it's,
it's amazing. Everybody's so friendly. Obviously there's always going to be bad apples in any barrel, but the majority of people are just great. I've noticed that in the Jeep Talk Show community that we've built, really, really great individuals. So let me ask you this: how much weight do you have hovering over the bed? And I'm asking that because of the center of gravity and how that may have affected your ability to go rock crawling.
So and I definitely feel a difference with the tent on, let me tell you. But when I'm off camber with that tent, I don't like the feeling. But I know the tent comes in around 220. The rack is pretty much almost all steel, I think, and it's, God, I don't know what the weight is, but I'm guessing 300, maybe a little more than that.
Right.
And then the awnings are, the big awning right there on the back, I imagine 50, 60 pounds. I don't know exactly. And then I have a little bathroom annex there on the driver's side that we can't see in this picture. And that's probably only, maybe 20 pounds less than that big one because it's only about half the size.
So do you do anything? Do you have something maybe in your garage where you can pop that tent off and let it hover above while you're
No.
you consider anything like that for whenever you're going on these just the wheeling trips, or is a wheeling trip an off-road trip as well?
Yeah. Honestly, with the wheeling trips, I think it was EJS, the last EJS, we actually did take the tent off and just set it at my friend's house, just left it there. But kind of one of the goals before this accident was I was looking at smaller trailers and to build out kind of your off-road adventure trailer and put all that stuff there. Because as easy as it is to pop out the tent and to close it down and stuff, it's still kind of a pain when you're like, you park it somewhere and then you're going to get up in the morning and drive to go wheeling for the day and then come back to your camp. And if you're camping alone and it's not like an established reserved camp spot, that my spot might not be there when I get back wheeling for the day. So I think having a trailer where I could just park it, unhook it, and have kind of a base camp sitting there, but a nice little trailer that I could drag to most places off the grid. But I've heard pros and cons about that too. So
well, I mean, is the trailer going to be there when you get back too?
Oh yeah, you definitely have that con. If somebody somehow tows it away.
I think most people don't have any problems with that. And if you go into Moab, like Easter Jeep Safari, there's some places that you can camp that people won't even be able to find. The majority of them. So absolutely beautiful place. So let me give you a little tip. This is a non-paid recommendation. I got the Motobuilt skid system for my Gladiator. And it's like 250 pounds or something. So that low weight may help you counterbalance that weight above. And I am just so happy. EJS the first year, which was 2020, was it 2022 or 2023 is the first time I went to EJS. And I scraped, I'm on 35s, 2.5-inch Mopar lift. And I scraped a lot. It was fine, but just that hearing of it. And if you're not a new vehicle, you don't know what's going to get hit. It has skids on it from the factory, but they're not major skids. It did just fine. But before I went the next year, I wanted to get that Motobuilt skid system. It's just absolutely gorgeous, smooth, covers so much of the underneath. Got it on there, and then I had that on there for this year's trip to EJS. It is a wonderful skid system. You don't already have one, do you? You're nodding your head like maybe you've been looking at it or you got one.
I've been looking at a competitor, Artec.
Yeah, Artec's also nice. Yeah,
they're a local brand. So I've been looking at their skid system. But yeah, that's again something on my wish list. Thinking about protecting the underneath there for me. I never thought about it as a counterweight, but it definitely makes sense too to put a little weight underneath there to maybe counterweight that top.
Well, even if you move everything off to a trailer, that lower weight, that lower center of gravity is just absolutely going to help you. Yeah.
So have you been to EJS 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row?
2 years in a row. Okay. So 23 and this year, 2024.
Okay. So I must have caught you not the first year you're there, because I think that's when I saw you and started following you. And I was like,
oh cool.
Yeah. I saw your red Jeep with the badging and everything. And I was like, oh, I'm going to follow this guy, because I've only been 3 years now. So this last year is my third EJS. So.
Mm-hmm. And as far as wheeling goes, you live in Utah, and I think that they'll beat you if you don't wheel if you live in Utah. Have you of the 2 years with a Jeep? How much wheeling have you done? How many trips have you been on? Not necessarily just in Utah, but total.
So as far as like really wheeling, I've been to Moab for the 3 Easter Jeep safaris, and probably 3 or 4 times, if not more than that, just down there with friends. We've had some really good times in the fall, like October and November. It's a little chilly, but it's empty. It's like nobody's there. Like every trail we see like maybe 1 or 2 Jeeps or side-by-sides. And it's really nice in the fall. And then I've been to like the Hurricane St. George area to the Sand Hollow, where I guess Trail Hero is a big event they have there all the time.
Right.
Been down there maybe a half a dozen times too. Took a big overlanding trip, actually, that first EJS, I think it was of 2022, where we went all the way down to Lake Powell. We did like a 4-day trip. I can't remember everywhere we went, but all the way to Lake Powell, camped on Alstrom's Point overlooking the dried up lake, and then kind of wheeled back all the way until we got to Moab to participate in EJS. So that was a great trip. That was basically my first big trip.
Well, let me ask you real quick about, you mentioned something that stuck out in my head. You said that you went out there wheeling, when it was chilly out, and it was empty. And I think a lot of people don't do EJS because they think it's too crowded.
Yeah, me included.
Well, then this is what I was going to ask you. Do you go on the trails, what is it, the Red Wheelers, or the people that put on the event? Do you do the trail rides with them, or do you do your own thing?
No, I've yet to ride with them. The first year we went, we used the book to basically find out where they weren't.
Exactly. Because see, I mean, I don't have anything to compare it to. I mean, I'm sure it's empty when it's empty, but I had no problem with the number of people that were there, but we didn't go on those sanctioned rides or whatever. We went off and did our own thing. So yeah, and I can encourage people to go to EJS. It's not as crowded as you may think. So your opinion, that's my opinion, but I haven't been there when it's not crowded. Is your opinion like you can still go to EJS, just go on the trails where the sanctioned rides aren't happening? Yeah, exactly.
That's what we did the first year. And I was like a lot of people, I was like, I had no interest in going to EJS. I'm like, I don't want to be in like a Disneyland environment where it's bumper to bumper Jeep traffic,
right?
And every trail's just packed, and it didn't interest me at all. But when I got there for the first year, it wasn't bad. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of Jeeps there, but it was not bad at all. And like,
it's not like I was stuck in it wasn't like I was stuck in a traffic jam anywhere.
No,
That's a lot of area out there. I mean, one of the big things, and I think I knew this, but I hadn't experienced it. This isn't a park. This isn't an off-road park that you go to. No. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of square miles of off-road stuff in and around Moab, and I had no idea just how large that whole area was. So, you could go someplace and not see somebody pretty easily, I would think.
Yeah. And then the last 2 years, we did something a little different. We actually found a bunch of vendor runs. Like Warren Industries was doing a vendor run if you had, their equipment, like customer appreciation stuff.
Right.
So we did some Warren runs both this year and last year. We ran with Best Top the last 2 years. Actually, Moto built MileStar this last year. So we just paid attention to social media and saw those guys say we're going to have a run, and we signed up and been tagging along with vendors. And my buddy here, he's a I don't know if you want to call him an influencer, but he's into social media. He's Warning Lights. He's the one that took the video, and his vehicle was behind me. Actually, the other 2 Gladiators are his. But we had another friend of ours actually driving his wife's Gladiator that got us on dash cam. But he loves rubbing shoulders with all the vendors and talking,
hobnobbing with the goober smoochers. Yeah.
And I just ride on his coattails, right? I just ride on his coattails, and I meet these guys through him, and but yeah, he loves it, and
And so we're going to get to that incident here in just 1 second. I know people are going, hurry up, damn it. That's how we get you. You have to listen. You can skip ahead and maybe you'll catch it. Maybe you'll miss it. So I would just listen to the whole interview. Anyway, so this is really, really cool. You've done a lot of wheeling. You have gone places, and I'm sure you've been on the highway many times with the Gladiator, and sometimes shit happens. It's something we all have to deal with. And I'm glad you mentioned about the multiple Jeeps, because you can kind of tell in that video that I've seen, and I think you put it up on your Instagram channel as well, that there seemed to be several Jeeps in a row. And I was guessing at least 3, like the one with the dash cam, yours, and I saw one in front of you. So you guys are caravanning through California. We found out that it's through California, not wheeling California. And well, let's just get into this. So now you're cruising along. Where you were in California, about where were you? Was it San Diego?
Yeah, we were in the San Diego area. We thought, okay, we woke up in the morning. We thought we're going to go down to Mission Beach, spend a couple hours there. We had some kids with us. My friends that were with us have kids. So we thought we'd go to the beach, the boardwalk, let them play for a little bit, and then pack up and head home. And we were doing this trip in increments. So our goal was to get to Vegas, which was about 6 hours away. And we were going to stay at Vegas. My friends have relatives there. They grew up in Vegas. And we were going to stay at a grandpa's house.
Right.
So we played a little bit in the morning, just ate lunch, got gas, and we're heading out. And probably within 5 minutes, and this is about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's rush hour traffic, probably not the best time for us to leave. So we were already getting cut off by some cars. And the funny thing is I was actually the back Jeep right before this accident, and we were getting cut off. And my friend said, "Hey, I'll slow down. You can slide in here in the middle."
No, it could have been him. And you could have been feeling bad for your friend.
And the good thing is our Jeep was the only Jeep that didn't have kids in it. So again, probably better. Nobody would have got hurt. I mean, I don't think they would have got hurt either. They have a Jeep actually bigger than mine, same 40-inch tires and stuff. But it's better that the kids weren't involved in stuff like that. But yeah, when he told me to switch, it was within probably less than a minute. You hear him screaming, "Oh God, high-speed chase."
So you did have some sort of warning before it hit. Was there any noise associated with it? I mean, did you hear the sirens, or was it just somebody? And I'm guessing this is a GMRS radio you guys were using.
Yeah, we're using CB, but yeah, I didn't hear the sirens until it was too late. And like when you listen to the video, you hear my friend yelled probably 3 or 4 times, but he was yelling before he grabbed the radio.
Of course.
I only heard it. I heard high speed chase. As I'm trying to look in my mirror where it was, I look to my passenger side. I already feel the impact.
Oh, there's a high speed chase. Oh shit. High speed chase coming by. High speed chase. High speed chase. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on. Hey, hold on. Go to the left, guys. Go to the left.
And see a car flying.
My God, no time to react.
Window. Yeah.
I was very hopeful for your Jeep watching the video. I figured there would probably be some damage to that tire and maybe some incidental damage to the axle just because of the impact. And of course, it could have transferred down the drive line. But I was hopeful that this would be another one of those Jeep accidents where the Jeep goes, "Oh, fuck you," and just keeps going.
Unscathed, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, what was funny is I got out, once we pulled to the right, I got out and I walked around the back of the Jeep, and I came around and my wife's door was open too. She had gotten out, and I'm looking at the back. I thought it was smashed. I thought I got hit in the rear end. And I'm like, there's no damage. Like my body damage, it ripped my 2 plastic fenders off. And there was some...
That's a good wheeling trip right there.
Yeah, there's some road rash, which I would have picked up off of some, stiff bushes or something like that.
Yeah.
But there was no dents, no real deep scratches, nothing. And then she shut her door, and that's when I saw the front fender got removed. Somehow it missed our passenger mirror. It didn't even touch it.
Wow. Well, it was in the whole body roll. The whole barrel roll that the thing was doing.
Yeah. But yeah, there was unfortunately some mechanical damage underneath. We haven't gotten it fully evaluated. But from what we've checked and what the shop that we had it at recently, he doesn't think the rear axle took any damage. He doesn't think there's any frame damage. But when that Murano came down on my front passenger tire, it did bend my front axle and did some damage to the knuckle in there. It doesn't look like it sheared the ball joint, but the ball joint looks like it may have stretched or bent.
Right.
So
yeah,
definitely some damage up front.
So
but I drove off the road. I drove it about 2 miles to the next exit and called the tow truck.
Did you feel anything while you were driving it that didn't feel right?
You could tell. And my wheel was a good 60 degrees off. Down the road.
Yeah.
And when I turned sharp at a stop sign, I heard a clunk, and I could tell that it just wasn't right. My big tires, and I do have some spacers, even with what I have. I still rub a little bit when I turn sharp.
Mhm.
So it rubbed even more. Like I didn't even have to turn as sharp
Right.
before I started hearing some rubbing. But yeah, all in all, like I said, when we were on the side of the road, I was just surprised that I wasn't completely smashed in the back. And I was like,
Well,
no,
I mean,
good to go.
your wife, who I'm assuming was in the passenger side front,
Yeah.
could have been
Yeah.
injured from this
Oh, yeah.
easily.
Yeah. And, from our Instagram posts, there's been some comments going back and forth and people complaining that my tires are too big and stick too far out from the fenders.
Boo-hoo.
But I would argue if I had stock tires and I was a stock Gladiator, I think that Murano would have hit me, bounced into that Civic on the side of me, probably spun it out, maybe even spun me out.
Right.
I think me launching that Murano.
Oh, that's the best situation. I mean, that's absolutely the best situation. I mean, fender flares. We don't like to see our Jeeps get damaged, but fender flares, come on, they're plastic, and it's just that's just an excuse to upgrade. So,
yeah.
So now you say you pulled over and got out. Were you at all concerned about the occupants of the Murano? I think is how it's pronounced. That the vehicle that hit you, were you at all concerned about danger from those people that were in that vehicle? I mean, they're being chased by the police. They could be bad people.
It really didn't dawn on me at the time. I was like busy trying to, because I first
my
turned
Jeep,
because I didn't know how much damage I took. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get off the road. Then I got to the right, and when I got out, there's like 5 cop cars already around them. And what was funny is the driver actually got out and ran and jumped the barrier and ran across the other side of the freeway and took off. And I didn't hear this until later. Evidently, there was a dog in there too that followed his owner. I'm assuming it was his owner.
Right.
Dog jumped out of the car and took off after him too. And I heard that he was later found. The helicopter spotted him in a field and they went and grabbed him.
Mm-hmm.
There was a passenger in the Murano that did get injured and was taken to the hospital via ambulance. I didn't
that's
hear
a
how
shame.
severe her injuries were. I just heard it was a female passenger that was injured.
So as far as you know, it was 2 people, a man and a woman, both adults, no children, a dog. The dog was obviously okay because it fled.
It took off too.
Yeah. So
that's what's funny is the whole time I was like, I don't care. This guy ran. What a jerk, And then I hear there's a dog. I'm like, oh shit.
I know. Yeah. That was for me.
What's going on? All of a sudden he's getting thrown around in the back seat probably and not knowing what's going on. And then his dad or whatever, his owner takes off running. He's like, I'm going too. Wait for me. But yeah.
So, and I don't know how much you've heard. I would imagine the police aren't staying in contact with you as far as what's going on with everything. But I read that they were fleeing because they were being pulled over. The driver and the vehicle were being pulled over because of a bad registration, invalid registration.
Yeah, expired tags is what I heard.
Yeah. So did you hear anything about why in God's name anybody would flee with expired registration?
No,
I mean,
I don't know
warrant or.
Yeah. Don't know if he had active warrants. Don't know if it was a stolen vehicle. All we can get from CHP did the accident report. We have to wait 30 days to get the accident report. We were able to get the cover sheet of that, but the cover sheet basically has all of the victims. It has the owner of the Murano listed, but he's from Wisconsin, and it doesn't have who the driver was of the vehiku. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. So there's been no insurance information given to you.
No. Guessing that he probably doesn't have it, but who knows? Maybe he does.
Right.
San Diego Police Department were the ones that were actually engaged in this pursuit, and they took the criminal report. And I actually called them today to see if I could get the criminal report, and was told I'm not authorized, or what the word would be, to receive this criminal report because I'm listed as a witness, not a victim.
Oh,
like, are you
interesting.
kidding me?
Yeah,
and they're like, yeah. They're like, yeah, you'll have to do the UHP report. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me because there was a crime. It wasn't just an accident, but I don't know. We'll see. There's, I'll be honest. It's like after the accident, I feel like I've had more struggles post-accident than the accident, which is pretty sad.
Well, it happens really quick. So you have to kind of soak it in. And then you have the reality of the damage to your vehicle. And now you were on your way home. How far away from home were you, drive time wise? Is it a couple hours, 3 hours, longer?
Oh, no. If we were to drive straight from San Diego all the way home, it would have been probably a 12+ hour drive.
Oh, my goodness.
So we were about 6 hours, I believe, 5 hours to Vegas or something like that, 5 or 6.
Oh, that's right. You did say you were going to Vegas.
Yeah.
So what did you do? Because this is the thing that always concerns me if I'm driving a long ways from home. If something breaks or I'm involved in a high-speed auto chase, not the one fleeing, but being struck like you were.
Yeah.
Now you have a vehicle you can't drive, and you're in a place that's a long ways from home, and beyond just getting on a plane and flying home and getting to the house, you got a vehicle that you care about. Yeah. So you can't just, I guess you could just up and leave it, but most people aren't going to want to do that. Tell us what happened once you got pulled over to the side of the road. What did you have to do?
This is where kind of the frustrating part of the whole ordeal starts is, the accident was the accident. It was just some jerk running from the cops, right? But ever since then, it seems like I've had almost premeditated stuff happening to try to screw me out of my Jeep. Mm-hmm. So the accident happened a little after 5 p.m. We didn't get off the road and in contact with insurance until 7 p.m., calling them saying, hey, we need a tow truck. We got in this accident here. We're at this location. And their first comment was, it's after hours. You're going to have to wait until the morning. So after basically arguing with them saying, look, I don't live in San Diego. I live 12 hours away in Salt Lake City, Utah. I can't just sit here and wait. I'm not going to get a hotel room and wait in the morning. I have 2 friends that were here in Gladiators that we're kind of shifting gear around and bodies around so that my wife and I can jump into a Gladiator,
sure.
Pack into Gladiators and make the trip. But I'm like, I need somebody to come pick up my Jeep. So they finally arranged. They're like, okay, a tow truck driver is going to come out, and we want him to take your vehicle to a caliber collision down the road. The tow truck driver was super fast. I've never had, in my experience of ever getting a tow, which isn't a whole lot, but I've never had a driver this fast. Like within 10 minutes, he was calling me, asking me where I was, and he was probably there 5 minutes after that. Problem though, is he says that he can't take it to this caliber because they're closed and their gates are locked. And I'm like sitting there, well, what, you have to take it. You can't leave it here. And he's like, well, I know another shop and I can get the keys and get it in the gate. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, fine, I want you to get it. I want it secured behind a gate. But in my thought process is I'm calling my insurance company first thing in the morning and saying, hey, tow truck took it to this location. I want it taken to Caliber because they're a nationwide company. We have them here in Salt Lake. So if they fix it down there, I pick it up, get it to Salt Lake, and there's something still wrong, I can take it to Caliber and say, hey, this doesn't seem right, because they have lifetime guarantee of their work.
I never heard of Caliber, so that's good that you mentioned that, because I was wondering what's this fly-by-night organization, but you found that you knew ahead of time this was a good place. Do you mind mentioning the insurance company name?
It's Farmers Insurance, and they have not been easy to deal with. So I have not had a good time with them. So anyways, the tow truck driver did take it to his guy, which was a fly-by-night shop.
Of course.
that was, probably not even a real legal shop or license. But I called Farmers first thing in the morning and said, hey, he took it here, not to Caliber because the gates were locked. I want somebody to pick it up. So then they sent a tow truck to get it. I had to call them and say, hey, you need to release it. It's going to Caliber. It got to Caliber. And I believe it was the day after that. So this would be like July 17th. I'm looking at my claim online, and Caliber had submitted pictures of damage of, they're starting to do their estimate and taking pictures of the vehicle of the damage that's done. And I see the side of my truck, the passenger side of my truck, all of a sudden there's a huge dent in the rear wheel well. There's a huge dent on the seam of my rear passenger door. There's a big dent in that fender, what do you call it? The fender where the actual plastic fender mounts to. I don't know. I can't remember what that
front fender. You talking about?
Front fender
Uh-huh.
plate bracket or whatever. So there's like 3 dents there, and there was extra scuffing. I'm like, wait a minute. Luckily, I took pictures of my vehicle on the side of the road.
Oh, excellent idea. Yeah.
And a video of the vehicle on the side of the road. And I actually have 2 real good pictures of it on the tow truck where that damage does not exist. So I called Farmers and I reported it. I said, there's extra damage here that wasn't from the accident. What are we going to do? I called Caliber and I said, hey, these pictures that you took, that damage is not there, from the accident. And he's like, oh God, let's talk to Farmers again and see if they want to split this claim, because it's different damage. It occurred somewhere else. It occurred.
Oh, and that's going to be a huge additional cost for all that damage. There's paint, there's probably door replacement, all kinds of crap. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That fender well replacement, the door replacement. Yeah, a lot of extra money and body work to get it whole again. Farmers told me they weren't going to split the claim, that since it's all got to be paid for anyways, they're only going to do one claim. I said, no, that doesn't sound right. And then as this process progresses, they do a market evaluation report, which makes sense to me. They came back with the estimated value of my vehicle at about $45,000. They have a damage threshold ratio, which is they'll only pay 75% of that estimated value in repairs, which comes out to about $31,000. Caliber finishes their estimate, they shoot it back to us, and it's like $23,000, almost $24,000 worth of repairs. But in my head, I'm like, hey, we're under 31 grand.
Exactly.
We're not getting it totaled. We get a text on a Thursday afternoon right before business closes. My wife gets the text from a different person from Farmers saying, your vehicle has been declared a total loss. You need to arrange when you can go down there, pick up your belongings, and sign the vehicle over to Farmers to do the final estimate and get you your money. And we're like calling them, what are you talking about? Nobody's answering. Finally, Friday before end of business, we get a return call and we're like, what's going on? And they're like telling us, oh, well, what happens is we get your estimated repair and then we get a salvage bid. And if we add those together and it goes above the threshold, then we total it out. I'm like, well, where's this salvage bid come from? It makes sense to me if I would have met that threshold that you're going to do a salvage bid because you want to recoup some money. I understand that. Sure. But until it's totaled out, that salvage bid shouldn't factor into anything.
Right.
And after talking to several people at Farmers, one of them let the cat out of the bag and told me that the salvage bid was $23,919. So I'm like doing some reverse math and I'm like telling her, I'm like, so if my threshold's 31 and I subtract this 24,000 from 31, you're only going to do, my math is bad, but what, $7,000 worth of repairs on this vehicle before you declared a loss?
There you go.
That is ridiculous. So I told him, I'm like, no, I'm not letting you total my vehicle out. I don't agree with you. I'm getting a second opinion. I'm going to pick up my Jeep this coming weekend. So we
and this is at your expense. Farmers gave you a solution. So all this pickup and then travel, and I'm assuming you're going to take it back home. Yep, all this is at your expense. So that's a 12-hour shipping.
Yep. And that's what I did too. We borrowed a friend's truck, a big Ram 2500, borrowed another friend's 24-foot trailer, hauled ass on a Thursday, 12 hours, pulled into San Diego, spent the night in a hotel. First thing in the morning, we drove over there, picked it up, tied it down, strapped it down, and headed home. We didn't get home until Saturday morning at 2:30 in the morning with my Jeep. Mm-hmm. So I haven't touched base with Farmers, and this was just this last Thursday, Friday. So over the weekend, we just kind of took stock of it. One of the other bad things is Caliber, which I felt like was, a good company, a reputable. I've dealt with them before on another accident here in Salt Lake, and they were really good here in Salt Lake. But when I was looking at what they did to my Jeep to do their evaluation, they for some reason, they popped my hood, ripped the inner liner out and destroyed it, pulled off my vents off my hood. I'm like, why are you guys doing this? took that fender off, which I understood, that makes sense. Took the door panels and the windows out of my passenger doors, took my tent and my rack off, took the plastic piece on top of the bed where my rack sits off, just had it completely dismantled. Took my bumper and my rock slide off. They're going to charge me $700 for a new rear bumper that wasn't touched, had a dime-sized scuff from me wheeling it. We're going to charge me $1,100 for a new rock slide, stock rock slide that had some scuffs on it that was done from me wheeling it.
Right.
It's just all this extra charge. And when we called them and said, no, we're picking it up, farmers told Caliber to put it back together. When we got down to pick it up, my rack's sitting on bare metal. They didn't put those plastic pieces on. My bumper and my rock slide were nowhere to be seen. I'm like, where are these? Oh, they're in the shop. And they're like in 2 different locations in the shop. Have to get those and put them in the back of the bed. My doors still didn't have handles. The panels weren't put back on. The windows were still sitting in the back seat. And I'm like, what? This is put back together?
So let me ask you if you've considered this, and I'm not saying this is the case, but it almost seems like to me there is a coordinated effort here to a couple of things. One, do enough damage to the Gladiator where it can be a total of, it's going to be a total, and then farmers doesn't have to pay as much. They can sell your Gladiator and recoup some cost, like maybe it was damaged on the side on purpose. And then once it got to, I'm pointing farting on the
Caliber.
Caliber. It almost sounds like they were parting it out. They were pulling pieces off to sell.
How I almost felt. That's how I almost felt.
Yeah.
Or like this salvage bid, I was like, my wife.
Well,
thinks
they knew it was going to be
conspiracy.
totaled, so they start pulling stuff off that they know that they won't have to be accounted for, and they can sell that for just a profit. Or individuals there, maybe it's not even Caliber. It just could be the people working there that know what they can get away with on the totals because they figured it was going to be total based on their experience.
That's what I was thinking. And like when I first saw the pictures of the damage, that's what I was thinking is like, this is deliberate. Like somebody went down there and hit the side of my truck and tried to make it look like maybe the accident did it, and didn't realize that I have a video, dash cam footage of the accident. But when I actually got down there, saw it in person and looked at it and discussed it with some of my friends, I think it's really feasible that the tow truck that left with it, one of the straps came off, and you know how the tow trucks have some pretty beefy steel hooks. I think it's hook damage that was like bouncing maybe off the pavement, flying back up, and hit my Jeep like 6 or 7 times. And they're like some little half moon shapes, which would make sense to that hook, the metal hook, making that type of damage.
So
but
sad.
regardless, nobody reported it but me, so it's kind of hard for me to say, well, the first tow truck driver did it, or it was done at that first place he took it, or it was a second tow truck driver that did it,
Right.
or maybe it was Caliber that did it to try to total it out or whatever.
Yeah.
My wife's conspiracy is that somebody liked the Jeep so much that they tried to total it out so that they could buy it from salvage and build it up themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But,
I think everybody wants a Jeep at some point in their life. So, if you can get a cheap one, that's kind of a nice way to go. So all this just has to hurt. I mean, it's a relatively new Jeep. You probably don't have a bunch of miles on it. And, for farmers totaling the Jeep, would you have been anywhere close to being able to buy a replacement, or would you have to be out like thousands of dollars to be able to replace one?
I honestly don't think I would have the money because I don't know what the salvage, how to purchase it from salvage, how much it would cost. If it cost anywhere near that salvage bid of $23,000, I wouldn't be able to buy it.
Oh, I wouldn't pay $23,000 for that Jeep in the shape that it's in.
I've never been in this situation, so I don't know how it works, like what it would cost for me to buy it from salvage. I guess from their estimated, their valuation report, if my valuation truly came back at close to that 45,000, I still owe 39 on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get like $6,000, right? So what am I going to do with $6,000?
That 45,000 totaling value, does that include all the stuff that you added to it? Does it include the tent?
No.
I mean, they have to cover that as well, don't they?
They would have let me go get it. And that's why this trip that I went and got the whole Jeep like I was regretting it on one hand, but on the other hand, I was like, if I did let them total it out, I would have been down there to get my personal belongings, which included the tent and the rack and I just actually bought new wheels and those tires in April, right before EJS.
Oh,
you know,
God.
so
Brand new
I would have
40s.
taken those
Jeez.
too.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, it's just a bummer. And what's funny about the buying it back salvage, my wife was actually talking to the farmer's guy, and he said, "Oh, you can buy it back from salvage." And he's like, "Oh no, wait a minute, you owe money, so you're not allowed to buy it back from salvage." And that triggered me because I was like, "What if I have $30,000 in the bank? What do you mean I can't buy it back from salvage?"
Right.
I just the whole thing just is fishy. We did attempt to contact a lawyer.
Good.
And actually, my wife actually talked to like 5 different lawyers, and they all say the same thing. Was anybody injured? No.
Oh,
Okay, we
yeah.
can't take your case.
They don't see the money there for them. Yeah.
Exactly. But I did reach out to the California Insurance Department first, and the Utah Insurance Department, because since I'm a Utah resident and my policy was purchased out of Utah, I go through the Utah Insurance Department and talk to them, and they definitely think that there's something up. They think that there's 100% that there should be 2 claims. At the very worst, I would have to pay my deductible twice, but I argue that it was in their possession, that other damage. I shouldn't pay the deductible, but maybe since nobody can like truly say, oh, it was this person or this company that did the damage, what's your insurance? Since they can't really pinpoint who did it, then it'd be like if a shopping cart hit my truck in the parking lot or somebody backed into my truck that I didn't see, I would have to file my own claim. So I can understand that.
The interesting thing is that there's security cameras everywhere. And it may not even be, you may not even have to worry about the security cameras at the place, the fly-by-night place it was taken to. Yeah. You could probably find somebody with the right security footage. It's a pain in the ass. It's something you shouldn't have to do. And frankly, I don't know how it works in Utah or in California, but in Texas, for $90, you can do a civil lawsuit on somebody and file it yourself. It requires a little bit of your time, but it just depends on how motivated you are.
Yeah.
So none of this has moved you away from Jeeping or off-roading. You're going to continue Jeeping, and as of right now, we don't know what's going to happen to the Gladiator. You've got it home. You're waiting for a second opinion, and it's nice that you're not being strong-armed by farmers. And they said, like someone like, no, we will rescind the offer if you don't do it our way or anything like that.
And that still may be coming. I'm still waiting for them to say, you know what, we're not doing anything for you, and we're dropping you from insurance or from our, company.
But the insurance was enforced when it happened. They have to do something, right?
Yeah. So the status of it is now is I do have it home, and I've determined that I, with the help from my friends and some of the other people, am going to mechanically fix it myself. I've bought the new axles that were unfortunately still Dana 44s, not re-geared, but they actually came off of another 2022 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon Eco Diesel. So it's the same housing, same everything, because the Eco Diesel has a little thicker of a axle housing than the regular JLUs and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we got that. I've ordered bits and parts. I've got truss kit from Artec that we're going to weld together, weld on those axles before we mount them, and beef them up a little bit more. A little bit more weight down there, like you said. Yeah. What center of gravity down. And some other steering components to get it back on the road. And then once I'm driving it, I'm going to take it to another shop here for the body. I tried to get a hold of farmers again today, but they've always been difficult to get on the phone as far as the adjusters go.
Hey, you don't have to spend money if you don't answer the phone.
Exactly. So I'm going to talk to them one more time and say, are you guys going to split this claim? And if they say no, then I'm going to actually file an official complaint with the Utah Insurance Department. Because like I said, I talked to them today and they said that it shouldn't be done like the way that they're doing it, and suggested that we file an official complaint with them. But I thought I'd give farmers one more chance and see what they say. And then, I'm not giving it up.
Well,
and
here in a couple of weeks, you can send them the interview and let them listen to all your complaints.
Yeah. And honestly, that's what some of my other friends are like, kind of laughing about and saying that farmers is freaking out because the video went viral. Like the full length video that I have on Instagram, I think hit 500,000 views or something like that. Warning Lights, my friend, they made a shorter version with a viral sound, little dink sound, and it's just the actual Murano hitting my tire flipping. It's like
nice.
A 2-second video. That thing hit like 17 million views. So it went viral, and they're saying that farmers have caught on that it's on social media, and that Motor Trend made an article. The Drive,
that's where I saw it.
Online magazine had an article, doing a podcast with you. So they think that maybe they're panicking a little bit, that they shouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Well, they shouldn't be business as usual because their social media exists, and that's why I asked you if you wanted to mention the name of the insurance company. I wanted you to mention it. So you said, now you haven't heard from them as far as you being dropped. That's always a possibility from an insurance company. So you may not have an option. But are you planning on changing insurance companies after learning this? And don't get me wrong, I don't think any insurance company is perfect. But at some point you have to say, well, this just didn't work out. Maybe I'll give somebody else a chance.
Yeah, I absolutely am in the thought process of, as soon as this is all settled, whether worst case scenario, I'm fixing it completely out of pocket on my own, or best case scenario, they say, hey, we'll pay for everything, and we're not even going to worry about a total loss threshold. We're just going to make you whole, because that's all I want. I just want my Jeep made whole. I paid a ton in insurance because I still have my kids on my insurance. I'm paying, it's ugly to say, but I'm paying over $1,200 a month in insurance premiums. And you're not going to fix my car. That's not going to fly. It's not going to fly. Yeah. So I'm in, I'm definitely mulling over seriously that once this is over, I will probably have a new insurance company. Well, which is sad. My agents are great. My agents have been terrific.
Well, this is just policy. It's farmers' policy that you're dealing with. It's not the individuals. It's just the company policy that you're having to deal with. So I'm sure there's a lot of farmers people out there. There's probably farmers people, agents and stuff that listen to the Jeep Talk Show, and we love you. But at some point, the company has to provide the service that they're being paid for, and not some backwards way of screwing you over simply because they think you're going to go, okay, sure, thank you very much. May I have another bowl, sir? So absolutely. Well, now you mentioned, and actually I mentioned Instagram earlier. You know how the kids love the social media. Where can people follow you and find out more about this stuff? And don't forget to mention your friend. We follow your friend Wheeling. What was it again?
I am actually 4-Wheel Family Fun. Right. So that would be my Instagram, and it's the number 4-Wheel Family Fun. My other friend that's more of an influencer than I am, he and his wife go by Warning Lights. Warning Lights.
Yeah, I was thinking Wheeling. Yeah. Warning Lights. Okay.
Yeah, Warning Lights with a Z at the end. And then the audio performance of High Speed Chase, that was actually a gentleman named Chuck Converse, and he was a rep of MileStar Patagonia, of MileStar Tires.
Oh, really?
And what was funny is the Baja trip we did was sponsored by MileStar, and my friend Warning Lights knew Chuck, being a rep of MileStar, and called him and said, hey, what's this Baja trip, and how is MileStar sponsoring it? And Chuck says, well, I'm not really sure why, how we got involved sponsoring it, but yes, I'm going because I'm the rep for MileStar. And funny story is he had some Jeep issues himself, and he was scrambling as we were on our way down to, the trip. We were going down south to San Diego area. And I asked my friend from Warning Lights, hey, have you heard from Chuck? He's like, no, let me call him. And we call him and he's like, yeah, I'm scrambling. My Jeep's broke. Can I catch a ride with you guys?
Oh, nice.
And so they did one step over is they gave him his wife's Jeep and said, you were just going to leave our Gladiator, our second Gladiator with you. You drive it down tomorrow to Vegas. We'll meet up and then do the rest of the trip down to California and Mexico. So my friend's Warning Lights, him and his wife both have Gladiators. They actually lent Chuck Converse, the MileStar rep, their Gladiator, and we all caravan together down there. It wasn't like 100% planned that we were going to be a three, with Chuck, a 3 Jeep and his family, a 3 Jeep convoy. But yeah, Chuck Converse, he's a big time wheeler down there in Sand Hollow, and his wife has Mason Converse Media on YouTube. So she's posted some, she has her own channel that she posts videos and stuff on too. And she has a couple videos about our Baja trip and then ending with the crash.
Right. and is Instagram the place that you are, or are you on more than just Instagram?
I'm just Instagram.
And tell the folks again where they can, what your Instagram name is.
I'm at 4 Wheel Family Fun, the number 4 and then Wheel Family Fun.
Cool. Now, and I want to just tie all this up with a good blame. It sounds like to me that Warning Lights is the person that's responsible for all of this. The wreck, the position, all this stuff. So I'm sure he's a great friend, but you got to take some responsibility, right?
Yeah, we'll blame him. Yeah, we'll blame him. He's the one that found this Baja trip.
Yeah.
He's the one that told me to go. Yeah. And he's actually the one that had me, talked me into purchasing a Jeep.
Was he the one that switched positions with you that you were following?
No, actually it was Chuck.
Oh, gee. So, well, see, that's free tires for life right there.
He told me, he did tell me, he's like, if that tire's damaged, don't worry about it. We'll get you hooked up with some new tires. Yeah, but luckily it looks like the tire's fine. Took it like a champ and launched that Murano in the air.
Yeah. Oh, and when you get your Gladiator back going, remove that Rubicon off the hood and put on barrel roll on the hood.
Hey, that's another good one. Yeah, I was going to tell you, I know how everybody likes to name their Jeep. We were going to change ours to Phoenix, rise from the ashes.
Yeah,
since I'm having so much trouble and they're trying to total it out. So,
well, you get in trouble, but farmers or not farmers might be another good one.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
don't do that. You'll get sued.
I'm talking about farmers, corn and wheat. Yeah, I don't like them.
That's right. That's right. Well, Kris, thank you so much for being with us. And I'm really glad that I was able to find, it was actually Warning Lights that put me on to you. Because I made a comment on a video or on Instagram that he put up, and I was really happy to see that both you guys were following the Jeep Talk Show on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it was just really great. Well, I think we've only had one other interview where somebody, it was a national headline thing. This is before you were into Jeeping, so you may not remember this one, but an XJ driver parked next to a Corvette owner at a restaurant. And the Corvette owner was right up at the front door and parked sideways and took, at an angle and took up two spots. And the XJ guy got up on the curb and parked next to him and pissed the guy off. I mean, we've seen people like that. I mean, if you're parking way in the back with your beautiful vet, that's one thing. But at the front door, hell no, screw you. That was a national news story, and we had that gentleman on. It was fun talking to him about that.
Should have
Kris,
had the Corvette guy on too. That would have been a great dual interview. You could have had them both on.
Oh, that'd be funny. I don't know. I like to be nice to people. I don't think I would have been nice to him. Who the hell do you think you are? That type of thing. Is the conversations that are more fun in person than over video. Kris, thank you so much for being with us. Would love to get you back on to get an update on the story in the future, maybe a few months, but we'll stay in contact and then get you back on. And hopefully, one of two things. Hopefully you'll have a good, feel good story, feel good conclusion to this, or I'll get you to lie that it was a good, feel good ending.
Like I said, worst case scenario, I'll have my Jeep back on the road. It just might be out of my pocket.
I hate to hear that.
Even if I have to drive it around a little bit with those dents and stuff, it'll be a story to tell, right?
Oh, very much so. Yeah. All right, Kris, thank you very much for being with us today, and we need to get you back really soon.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks again to Kris for sharing his story of a police chase gone wrong. I'm very happy that Kris and his wife were uninjured. You know, you may have picked up on it by now during the course of this interview, but losing my Jeep or any vehicle I'd spent time modifying is a fear of mine. No matter how good a driver you are, sometimes you can't avoid random chance. I know we all have, but sometimes it will still get you. And this is definitely a situation where Kris really didn't have much to do with this, since it's coming up from the rear. You know, I'm sure Kris knew that anything could happen on his trip off-road, although I suspected he felt it was more likely to happen off-road, not on the highway. We buy insurance because we're supposed to, and it does give us a sense of security that worst case insurance will make us financially whole again. But at least so far, this isn't how it's working out for Kris. You know, I don't think that you really contemplate, unless you've gone through this, what happens if, 1,000 miles away or 700 miles away from home, the vehicle gets hit, and through no maintenance fault of mine or the age of the vehicle, you can't drive it any further. What do you do? I mean, these are expenses that you may not have been planning to have: a place to stay, trying to get your vehicle home. I know it's a risk we all run whenever we go and do things. That's part of the adventure. But to come out of the blue like this and just get slapped with another vehicle that's running for police. I mean, I see two culpable parties here. Obviously, the perp that's fleeing the police, and I think the police chasing the perp. Can't you just get them later? I mean, I like the idea of the police stopping people from doing bad things, but at what cost? I guess is what I'm asking. So Kris has taken it upon himself to rebuild his Jeep Gladiator. You know, it's that independent spirit that many Jeepers have. And I'll say for many of us, it's why we chose a Jeep in the first place: independence. To do things that most people find too dangerous to do, or even distasteful. Why would I want to go off-road? Why would I want to climb over rocks? Why would I want to put myself in danger? Why would I want to take my $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 vehicle and potentially scratch it or rub up against a rock or something? Many of us know, about the aftermarket and rock sliders and other things you can do, which makes all the whole Jeeping fun, going off and doing things, learning about how to do this stuff safely and make it back home in one piece, and the Jeep back in one piece. So the danger I didn't see coming on this story was having to deal with the insurance company. It just sucks. All right, coming up next week, Brandon. This is a man with a story about his 1946 Willis. I wanted to say Willys so bad. Willis barn find and restoration that Kris and Nikki G recently sat in for a promo at Toledo Jeep Fest. If you follow the show, and especially if you watch us on YouTube, you saw this promo. Beautiful Jeep, and it was Brandon's Jeep that they sat in, and we'll have more pictures for you in this episode. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Jeep Talk Show. I want to give a big thank you to our special guests for joining us today and sharing their knowledge and experience with the Jeep community. Remember, we have 5 episodes a week, and it's understandable if you may have missed past episodes. You can always find us at your favorite podcast platform or on our website. With over 1,100 episodes, there is plenty of Jeep Talk Show to entertain you while driving to your destination, working out at the gym, mowing the grass, or waiting for the tow truck after you've been hit from the behind. I know, I shouldn't have gone there. Check out our Chick Chat episode, now under new management, and Cowboy and the Kilt with Chuck and Greg. Improve your day by listening to more Jeep Talk Show. I know. What do you mean? What do you mean new management? What do you mean Cowboy and a Kilt and the Kilt? Well, that's why you got to watch. And I do say watch. Go over to YouTube and search for Jeep Talk Show, then like and subscribe. We love hearing from you. Reach out to us via email, phone, social media. We use your voicemails on the show. So until next time, keep on Jeeping, and we'll see you on the trails. Hey, remember, Fridays are red. Remember, everyone I can almost get it out. I'm thinking ahead. Fridays are red. Remember, everyone deployed. I love mentioning our military every Friday, but there are other military members out there that are not deployed. We see them, work with them, are friends with them. in our everyday lives. Even if you've said it to them before, thank them for their service, whether they were in a combat zone or working for us in an air-conditioned office. All their contributions were important to our security and safety. Thank you for your service now, in the past, or in the future.
Broadcasting since 2010.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.